Welcome to Ringside and Sidelines. It is playoff time, so not a lot of teams are really fighting for anything, but some teams are looking forward to something. That is the NFL draft. And today we will be doing a mock draft of the top 10 picks, starting from 10 and going down to number 1. Let's get it started. It's starting with the 10th overall pick, which is the Chicago Bears. And here I have them selecting Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive lineman from the University of Texas. And here I was thinking, they have decent wide receivers. The defensive line, defense could use more work, but what do they desperately need? They need more offensive linemen to protect their franchise quarterback. I know they mostly need guards, but I think, Kelvin Banks can. He mostly played tackle, but I think he can easily slide into a guard. Which either side they need him, because I think he's that elite of an offensive lineman. And I know you have multiple options, but to me, I think Kelvin Banks here is the best offensive lineman choice here for the Chicago Bears. With the 9th overall pick, the New Orleans Saints select Mikael Williams, edge rusher from Georgia. They desperately need more edge rushers. They have no pressure. And, this defense, I don't know what this team is. They traded Marshawn Lattimore, halfway through the season to the Commanders. And you don't know what's going on with Alvin Kamara. Derek Carr, you still have Derek Carr in the roster, who's going to take a lot of dead cap if you cut him or you trade him away. And Spencer Rattler is not a quarterback for the future, but I think here you build the team around and get ready for the quarterback, and you need another edge rusher. So I think Mikael Williams here would be perfect here in New Orleans. With the 8th overall pick, the Panthers, like I said with the New Orleans Saints, I think they have a potential franchise quarterback in Bryce Young. Still really needs to show it though. Had a really, really good second year compared to the first year. And you can't go really running back here. It's a little too late. You're not going to draft Ashton Genty here, especially when you just re-signed Chuba Hubbard to a long deal. And you still have Jonathan Brooks from Texas there right behind him. And I think drafting a wide receiver here, which, the Panthers do need, I think it'd be way, way too early here to draft a wide receiver. So I think here they're going to go defense here, and they're going to go with safety from Georgia, Malachi Starks. Perfect. He was a great leader in the Georgia defense, and I think he could be a great leader here for the Panthers and desperately, give them the help that they need. With the 7th overall pick, the New York Jets will be selecting Will Johnson. This defense absolutely dismantled after Robert Saleh got fired. There was a whole mood change. Lots needed to be changed, and Sauce Gardner was not the elite cornerback that he was. So I think pairing Will Johnson with him could be, they could end up being one of the best, if not the best, cornerback duo, because I think Will Johnson is the best cornerback in this entire draft. I know, Travis Hunter is, the Heisman winner and all that, but I think he is good at, he's a good offensive weapon and a good, cornerback, but he's not the best cornerback in this draft, which obviously to me, Will Johnson is that. And he's going to the New York Jets. With the 6th overall pick, the Raiders were a real tough team because they desperately need a quarterback. They can wait another year just to see, because I think the team will be bad, just like they were this year, maybe even worse. So here I've gone with Tate McMillan from Arizona, wide receiver. Just get the weapons ready for whichever quarterback you have. He's the really only exception here. He had an elite season last year. He had more of a better season last year than this year. And, I'm hoping he can just be the difference maker for the Raiders and, just take some pressure off Brock Bowers, just so Brock Bowers doesn't have all that pressure on him, just to draw away from him. And I think that's what McMillan can do, and that's who the Raiders will draft at number 6. And with the 5th overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars will select Mason Graham from the University of Michigan. Here, they work on the defensive line. Both their line on both sides, offense and defense, desperately need some help. I think here they go best player available, and that's Mason Graham from Michigan. And that's all they really need. They do need wide receivers. They do need, maybe another wide receiver and a running back. Maybe, they might need some offensive linemen to protect Trevor Lawrence, but I think they can get that, with the later rounds and maybe in the offseason. But here, Mason Graham will go to Jacksonville. The 4th overall pick, it might be a kind of a fall to some people, but I have Travis Hunter here falling all the way to 4 to the New England Patriots, and I think he'd be perfect right here. He'll be New England desperately needs a new weapon, and he can play, be able to be a great offensive weapon and defensive weapon for the Patriots here, for Drake May here. for a Mike Vrabel, to really, get some offensive schemes going to you be able to use Travis Hunter. And I think he'll mostly play cornerback, but also with that cornerback duo of Christian Gonzalez and Travis Hunter, I think that would be elite. Not one of the best, but one of, like a top 10, maybe top 5. So I guess one of the best cornerback duos in the league right there. So I'm really excited. Travis Hunter to the New England Patriots. With the 3rd overall pick, and this team could trade up to 2 and get the same guy right here. But I think at the end of the night, the New York Giants will be selecting Shedeur Sanders from the University of Colorado, quarterback. Hopefully they got their guy. They got their number 1 wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. They have a decent defensive line. I feel confident in this draft. You can go, with the Will Johnson, with the Travis Hunter here, and just wait 1 more year and see what you get next year in the draft. Honestly, the Giants should just take another chance. They took a chance on Daniel Jones. They signed Drew Lock, and they desperately need a new franchise quarterback, so why not take a chance on Shedeur Sanders? And so I think they should just take a chance on Shedeur Sanders, and that's who they have drafting with the 3rd overall pick, Shedeur Sanders to the New York Giants. With the 2nd overall pick, the Cleveland Browns will be selecting Abdul Carter. Him with Myles Garrett would be elite. That would be an elite, nasty duo to have on that line. And I think you don't need a quarterback. If you don't feel confident in this, don't draft a quarterback. If you really want to, you can, draft a bridge quarterback. You can draft, like a Quinn Ewers in the 4th or 5th round or 3rd round maybe. You can maybe draft, a Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel. They have lots of options you can draft later if you want. Just have that bridge, because you're going to take up so much money with the Deshaun Watson money. He's going to be out for another whole entire year, so this team is not going to be good. You don't know what the situation with Nick Chubb. You have David Njoku as your best option. Jerry Jeudy is also there. I don't know what his contract situation is, but this team, if you're just throwing a quarterback in this system, they're just going to fail. It's just setting up any quarterback that goes there to fail. And that's why I wouldn't want any Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders to go there. So that's why you rather draft a guy who you don't have so much stock in, and have that 1st round top 2, top 3 pick, name on top of you, just that carrying the nameplate around every single game, and just making the organization look bad, and also making the player look bad himself, saying that he can't elevate a situation that has been bad for years. So the Cleveland Browns here select the best player to me in the whole entire draft, Abdul Carter, and build the team around, waiting for the quarterback to come. So with the 1st overall pick here, the Tennessee Titans will be selecting Cam Ward from the University of Miami, Florida. And I think here the Will Levis, Mason Rudolph experiment is over. You can maybe keep Will Levis as a backup quarterback and see how he does there. Maybe check his trade market, which I don't think he has much of. So I think backup would be good for him there, be able to develop. And Cam Ward, I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. And I think out of this whole entire draft, I think he's the only quarterback that deserves a 1st round grade. And any other draft, he wouldn't have a top 10 grade to me. But I think here with the draft, with the situation, and the Titans desperately needing a quarterback, for decent weapons, they have Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley, Nikhil Westbrook, I believe that's how you say his name, and then the 2 running backs, Tyrese Spears and Tony Pollard, both of them. And the defense isn't too bad. It's just the offense and the quarterback play was just so horrible. This team, of course, got the 1st overall pick. So I think Cam Ward can throw that down, can save this team. I don't know about how much he can save. Like, I'm not saying playoffs or anything like that. Like, we're seeing with the Jaden Daniels, but I think he can elevate this team, and especially he's not going to be afraid to throw the rock. So here, the Titans with the 1st overall pick select Cam Ward. That was the Ringside and Sidelines mock draft top 10 picks. Comment down below who you think is going to go number 1 and who you want your favorite team to draft. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.